presentations and trainings. This was the guy who I saw present and train when I first started in the business 10 years ago. He's absolutely incredible. Let's have a massive round of applause for amazing Daniel O'Kay. Take
it. Absolutely. Thank you, Gediminas, and absolutely smashing presentation so far, training. Sarah, thanks for all the information you've shared. I'm sure that that's been valuable to my team as well. We're going to start putting those things, strategies into practice immediately, and we're going to form all the moving parts. There's so many moving parts, but we'll find a way to get it done as soon as possible. If it's getting results, and we need to get going with those plans. Okay. So what I want to talk about today is goal setting. Why do we set goals? Why is it important? Why is it that people start building a business and you get an upward trend, and then all of a sudden it starts to dip? I think the reason is because people don't have goals. Goal setting helps your business go from kind of like a wandering generality to a specificity, to a focused specificity. Goal setting gives you focus, and that's where we want to be. Many years ago, when I first started in network marketing, and I would go back to my mentor, and I will start complaining. I'll be negative and stinking thinking. He used to say that I have stinking thinking, and I'll go back to him. And one thing he always repeated over and over and over again: so Daniel, you're suffering from the fact that you don't have goals. You don't have any goals. If you don't have goals, you complain. If you don't have goals, you're distracted. You're looking. You know what? It's like if you're driving a car. When you're driving a car, you have two ways of viewing where you're going. You've got a little mirror in front of you that sees behind you, and then you have a windscreen that bigger than the mirror, that sees in front of you, right? So which do you use most? Do you use a mirror that sees behind you, or do you use a windscreen, this windshield that sees the road ahead? We are to refer to the mirror as we drive. Occasionally, you're looking to see what your surrounding is, what's happening behind you, but you're not reversing, you're going forward. Goal allows you to travel in the direction where you need to go. When you focus on the negativity, and you focus on what's behind you, what you can't do, what's not happening, who's not doing something, that is a mark of a person who has no goals. Now, I'm listening to myself as I'm talking to you right now, because I've had to go back to notes that I took many years ago, and that's why it's important to actually have notes. When you're going to training, or when you're sitting with your mentors, you need to have a piece of a book like this. Been taking notes so that you can refer to it again, because we tend to forget. So why is it important? Why am I talking to you now? What I've found is that in our business, many moons ago, it started to dip, and we only just came back last year. And I remember that, sometimes going back to the things that you've learned, the old school thinking, sometimes would help you to move your business around. So I thought goal settings. And in the past few months, most of the people in my team will remember this, because I've sat with you and I've gone through specificity. I've gone through goal setting with you. And all of a sudden, I'm beginning to see a sort of like an uptick. So that graph is beginning to go up again. So why do we do this? Why do we need to go through goal setting? Why do you need to set goals? So one thing that goal setting does is setting goals helps you to focus. Remember what I said before, you're driving a car, you've got a mirror that looks behind you, you've got a windscreen that lets you see where you're going. And that's the most important thing. You should look behind you once in a while so that you can adjust, from learning from mistakes and stuff like that. But goal setting allows you to focus on where you're going, so you don't run into a disaster. You can see for miles what the potential of the road ahead is, and you can start making adjustments before you actually hit any kind of disaster. So when you are setting goals and you write your goals down, it allows you to be able to target specifically where you're going. Goal setting is like, I want to be 3%. I want to be 15% in this month, because 15% in my second month in the business allows me to have a reward of £400. So you want to write that down. Okay, so when you set it as a goal, that allows you to have a target. It's like shooting an arrow. If you want to shoot an arrow at a target, you have a bullseye. It is easier to aim for the bullseye when you have a target. If there is no target in front of you, then you are generally just shooting an arrow in every direction. You're not focused on hitting a target. So when you set a goal, it allows you to set a target and allows you to go for the target and hit that target. That's why it's important to set goals. And I've seen that those people that I've sat down with, I've not been able to sit with everyone yet, but I've said the people I've sat down with and I've set specific goals for them have actually had new activities happening and growing their businesses forward. So it is very important. So you set goals because it helps you to focus. The second thing about goal setting is it helps you to measure your progress. Okay, goal setting allows you, when you set goals, it allows you to break down what needs to be done into bite size. So if you're going to walk, imagine that you're going to walk or you're a marathon runner, and London Marathon, you're running London Marathon is 28 miles, I think, for a marathon, if I'm right, 25 or 28 miles, right? But you pace yourself. You don't start a marathon and you go down the road like I don't know what's his name, Clifford Christie or Usain Bolt. That is not the way to run a marathon. You can't do it that way. But you focus on the milestones. If you're walking for 100 miles, so back in those days, the Roman soldiers, they used to march everywhere to wage war. But there were milestones on the side of the road, little like headstones. You see that headstones on the side of the road, and it says you're now 100 miles from the next town. Then you see 25 miles from the next town. Then you see 10 miles for the next town. So you set your goals out. Okay, now I'm 100 miles away from the next man. I need to hold everything together, do what I need to do to get to the next 10 miles, to the next 10 miles. So it allows you to measure your progress. If you don't have goals, your business begins to suffer from the lack of goals, because you don't know where you're going. You don't know where your business is going. You have no clue what is going to happen next. You have no clue about who you're speaking to, because you have not set goals about what you want to do and how you want to build your business. So it's not going to happen. So you need to set goals so you know what you're doing next. It allows you to measure your progress, right? You have a start, you have an intermediate. Okay, I've gone halfway through, and then you have an end. Goals allows you to have those three elements in your business. You have the start, or when you started your walk through your goal. You have your intermediate, so now you can measure. You know what? I am halfway through. If you're going for 15% in the second month, so you started off your first month, you didn't do much. It doesn't really matter if you go through the fast start, you didn't do much then. Okay, you didn't have to, but you set the foundation for that. You sponsored maybe 6 groups. And then your second month, you know that you need productivity. You need to get those 6 groups to, I don't know, say 5,000 points each. So the second month, 15% is going to happen. What I need to do, bite size, 5,000, 6 times. I am going to hit that goals, and I'm going to be well beyond into 21%, so I can get the benefits that goes up with it. So you got the start, that allows you to measure that. You got the intermediate, it allows you to measure that, and then you have the end of that goal, the results where you're going, and it allows you to measure that. So it's good to set goals because it allows you to measure your progress. The third thing is goals helps you to avoid distractions. What I found is that many people in our team, in our business from old, if I went back and looked at all the people that could call back up and say, you know what, we're back, we're building the business, and we'd like you to come and join our team. But it was important for me, because what's the reason why they didn't do it before? What's the reason why people start and then stop? What's the reason? It's because I know it's because they don't have goals. like I said earlier, my mentor used to tell me, you know, when you have this negativity going on in your business, is because you don't have goals. And he used to keep saying that to me, Daniel, you need to set goals. You have no goals. You're suffering from the lack of goals. So I began to sit down and go through this goal setting with them. Okay. So the reason why there is no continuity is because people start building the business, they build it generally with no specificity, and then they become distracted because the business is not drawing attention from their mind, from their psyche, from their psychology. There's no urgency. There's no, you know, this is important because, you know, I've got people depending on me. I've got team members that I've spoken to, and I've told them that we could all do this together and we can all benefit from the results that we will all get, and we can travel together. So I'm not going to abandon them. Okay. So we need to have a goal to, you know, to set goals about where we're going and how we're going to get there. So when you want to prevent yourself from being distracted, the best way to do it is to write where you're going down. If you want to get married, right? Somebody got down on their knee and brought out a little box and said, "Would you marry me?" And you say, "Oh my God, yes, I will marry you. I thought you'd never asked," and all that. And then someday in the future, he sets a date and say, "Let's have our wedding on the 5th of July, 2021. Okay. So now you have a goal, right? But you still need to plan for it. You still need to write down. So what are we doing next? All right. So I need a bride's maids. I need a bridal train. So who's going to be on my bridal train? You write it down, and then you decide, my groom needs a suit, a tuxedo. Where am I going to get it from? Am I buying one? Am I making one? Or are we renting one? And you decide that. Who's making the cake? You decide that. Who's providing the catering? You decide that. What about the hall? What about the sitting arrangement? What about family? What about the ring? So things like, if you don't sit down and take those things seriously, the 21st of July 2021 wedding is not going to happen. You will not have a wedding. Nobody will show up because the invitation didn't go out on time, because there was no catering, because the bridal train never happened. Things will not happen if you don't set goals. You don't write them down. And this is just something that we do instinctively. This is something that we just do because we know it's important to make that wedding happen. We've got to do certain things and write them down and shoot for them. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. So why is it that we become a wandering generality when it comes to the business? Many of you know that, you know, towards the end of the month, and in between, as often as I can, I'm at Irina's place. Because I have goals set. I've set myself goals. And because of the goals I've set myself, I need to hit those goals. And that's the reason why I go to my mentor. I sit down with her, I stay as close as possible, because I need her to push me towards the realization of that goal. You've got a business to build. You have promises made to people. I don't want to use the word convince them to join, but because people join for their own reasons, for their own, you know, financial reasons, for their own family reasons, for the fact that they want a life and a lifestyle rather than just working 24/7. So that's the reason. You didn't convince them, you persuaded them to look at their own life and make a decision that would be beneficial to themselves. However, you were the catalyst that made them to make that crossover from a life of an employee to a life of a business owner. So now you're responsible for them. So you cannot abandon them. So the best way to move forward with your group, with your people, is, if you can't set goals and if you don't know what to do about goal setting, get them round your upline. Get them around your upline. Get your upline speaking to them. Get your upline setting those goals, with you sitting down there and learning the skills on how to do goal setting. Okay, so what was I? Number 4, keeps you locked on target without distraction. Goals helps you to overcome procrastination. That's number 4, right? Procrastination is a killer of any business, and putting things up. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. I'll do it. But if you have a goal and you know that the goal has a deadline, let's go back to the wedding example. You set a date for your wedding, and now you know that you've got 6 weeks, or you've got 12 weeks. You've got 12 months before the wedding, and so you now you decided, you know what? That catering services, I'll call them next month. And the next month comes and says, oh, there's still time. I'll call them in another few months' time. Right. Okay. So eventually, when you got around to calling this catering services and you said, oh, I need you to do a catering for a wedding for me next year in about 6 months' time. So we're sorry, we're booked up. We can't do that. Yeah, but I wanted to call you earlier, but can't you make some space for me, please? Sorry, we can't, because we are literally booked up. We can't fit you in. And that's what happens when you procrastinate. The opportunity comes and goes and left you behind. Goal setting means that you've got to make sure that things don't go wrong on the day that you need it to work the most. So by procrastinating or being cured of that disease, you are able to make sure that the results that you're desiring would happen when you need them to happen. When you set goals, you know that this is the next thing I need to do. You know the next thing you need to do, you get around to doing it, you get it done. And then you go back to where you wrote it down and you put a bigger tick, in it, like that. Nike, something that looks like that. You put a big tick and you say, done. That is what it does for you. So when you set your goals, it allows you to not procrastinate. You're able to actually jump on, do what you need to do, because everything is written down and everything is time sensitive. Okay. So number 5, goals keep you motivated. Excuse me. Because you're doing something. Activity keeps you motivated. Do you know what? Few months ago, September last year, I started Fit 6 program, and I wanted to lose weight. In September last year, I was weighing 110 kilograms. My stomach was hanging up up to here. Whenever you guys saw me all through last year, I was sucking my stomach in, But I decided, you know what? When Fit 6 was launched a couple of years ago, we were at FM conference. And a few people had been aware that the Fit 6 program was going to be launched, and the company CEO had put about 8 people on the program. Anita was herself one of them. Irina and some other leaders had been put on the program. I knew that Irina was, because every time we went round to her house, we saw what she was doing, and the diet and the preparation and stuff like that. So we knew she wasn't on the program, but we didn't go around to her place all the time. When we were at the conference, they did an unveiling and brought up everyone that had been on the program on Fit 6 up on stage, and they had a before picture, after picture, and the people themselves live on stage. And the dramatic transformation, it was like, that was them before, that's them now. Fit 6 works. Fit 6 works. And it was like, okay, so people began to jump on the program, and Fit 6 took off. There are even FM branches that actually focus specifically on Fit 6. So September last year, I decided I'm going to go on Fit 6, and I weighed 110 kilos. And I thought, okay, so I'm going to do this. So I set the goal, and I said, okay, where do I want to be? And what do I need to do? What should be my activity every single day to allow me to stay motivated and on track with the Fit 6 program? So I got the Fit 6 stage 1, stage 2, and everything. Like, I got them, and then I said, oh, exercises, I've got to do that with exercise. So I began to run. I go on a road run every morning. I get up very early, run And then I saw that my first time running, I would run a mile. It takes me like 17 minutes to run a mile. And then about 3 weeks later, I would run a mile. It took me like 12 minutes to run a mile. So my activity was yielding some results. I was getting results from I was getting fitter. So that motivated me. So it was like I was continually in that, I was caught in that cycle of progression, of progress. You know, I was doing something. I had my goal, what I needed to be. I was doing it. I was carrying out my goals. And the activity kept me motivated because I was getting results. So goals setting allows you to remain motivated because the activity that you're carrying out to allow the goal to be a reality gives you the motivation to carry on doing it and to do more and more of it. And the final the final tip about goal setting is goal setting gets you results. If you set goals and you have a deadline and you have a destination and you work your plan, you work your goal, you will see the result. So if your result is Amaranth Orchid, if your result is Pearl Orchid, if your result is 3%, is your desired result, is what I should say, is 15% or 21%, whatever it is, and you set your goals and you review your goals, and you've got to set goals with your team or get your team around somebody who knows how to do that. And if you do that, you will get the results, right? If you shoot for the moon and you miss, you will land amongst the stars. If you don't shoot for anything, like I said, you just be a wandering generality. And I implore you, get back around to your leaders. They all know, I'm sure, Gediminas is well versed, in goal setting. Sarah, Irina, you just get around your Pam Stevens. She's on there. Terry, get around to your leaders. It would also help you to rejuvenate people who didn't do anything previously, and the reason why they didn't do anything previously and they fell off the wagon, as they say, is because wandering generality. They weren't shooting for a specificity. And when you do that, when you get back around to them and say, look, this time we're going to set some goals and we're going to help you accomplish those goals, I guarantee you that it's going to happen. I hand it over back to Geddes.
Fantastic training. Thank you so much, Daniel. That was awesome. Brilliant. Okay, so that brings our training towards the end, and now we're going to do some questions and answers. So first question was, where can we find the slides of Sierra? So the slides have already been uploaded to the Rising Stars group on Facebook. So the group is called FM World Rising Stars. I've put the link in the comments. So if you click on the link in the comments, that will take you straight to the group, and you can go ahead and join that group. I also uploaded my scripts, the stuff I was typing on the first training. I uploaded that document in there as well, so you can just grab it from there. That's awesome. Leanne is asking, how can you give understanding to your new team members the importance of goals? Most of the time they say it's clear, but they don't do anything. One of the good things to do that I've noticed is to actually sit down with your team member and write those goals down together. So it's great to do a training about goal settings, but I know I've heard about 3 or 4 or 5 different goal setting trainings before I actually sat down and wrote my goals. So if you can actually sit down with your team member and write those goals down, or if you can give your team member a homework task to write the goals down and come back to you, that will increase the chance of them writing. And guys, I mean, so many people hear about goal setting trainings and they never actually do that. And you cannot imagine how much your life can change when you write your goals. I have a little thing, this is my, what they call definite major purpose in life, right? This is my goals, right? On a piece of paper. And I read this thing every single day, right? Because writing goals is not just you wrote it once and you forget about it. You can do that. That's still better than not writing them. But if you actually write your goals and you read them every single day, you cannot imagine how it's going to burn it into your brain. And, simple thing of setting a task, like Daniel said, it's like the target you're shooting. About 3 months ago, we attended Success Summit 3, and we were told to write a letter to ourselves and write our name on the envelope and give it back, right? So they can send it to us 3 months later, like after 100 days. So we did all of that. We wrote, etc., and we basically wrote a letter congratulating ourselves on hitting a certain goal, right? So I wrote my letter and I left it there at the training, and I completely forgot about it. And a few days ago, he actually comes in the mail, and Rita goes, "Well, that's your handwriting." And I go, "Oh yeah, I wrote this to myself." So anyway, I unpack it, and I was like, as I'm unpacking it, I'm thinking, yeah, but I probably didn't hit whatever I wrote the goal. And I open it, and the goal says, "Build an amaranth orchid in your team." Right? When I wrote it, I had no amaranth orchid in my team, and now I have one, right? How crazy is that? How crazy is that, guys? Right? So it's just, you cannot imagine the power of writing goals down, but it's writing. If you just think about it, that's a pipe dream. It's not a goal. If you write it down, that becomes a goal. So important what Daniel was just going through. What is the difference between Avon and this? Because some people worked with Avon and they didn't or work, and they're upset about it. So first of all, Avon is not Irene, I think, raising hand. I think she wants to talk. Shoot.
Yes. Thank you very much, Gediminas. That I would like to answer, because I'm a speaker today, so I really would like to answer this. Avon, first of all, it's not network marketing company. It's similar to, but that is direct selling company. So means at once you cannot work in all the world. So means you need to buy a lot of catalogs, hand it to people. When they're making orders, you need to collect them, and later when you get that order, you need to send them. Yes? First thing. Later, what the difference? Check the quality. I'm not telling that is bad or good. You simply yourself need to try our products and compare to other companies' products and prices. So then you have no doubts and no questions, because we can do business in any country. We can do like a catalog. You can send on Facebook, on Messenger, whatever. So we are the company where we can have products with low price, with a higher price. Quality is outstanding in all our products, but some products we have more fancy, I could say, packaging. And if you want to deliver product for your customers, it's okay, you can deliver, but you don't need that, because every single person, when they join you for free in any part of the world, we can get the same products as you do for the same price you have. So that's it from me. Gediminas, what you would like to add more?
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's different companies, and all companies are great, but each company has its own different ways. So like Irina mentioned, Avon works on pretty much catalog distribution way, which means your business is mainly local. Whereas with FM, we mainly build national, international. Like, you're not limited to a certain postcode or certain street. You can actually build an international business, etc. So it is a huge difference. Also, there's something called market saturation. So think about Avon. Like, almost anybody knows somebody who sells Avon. Like, almost every office has a catalog, every place where you go to, etc. Right? So it's very much saturated market. Doesn't mean that you can't build a business with that and you couldn't make money. But when it comes, for example, to FM is much younger company, which means 9 people out of 10 that we speak to, they've never even heard of this company. What does that mean? It gives us a huge opportunity to build a tremendous business. So for sure, there's so much opportunity to build a business with FM. Ora is asking, when can we purchase the catalog that is launched today? It will be announced on the company website. So one habit I would like to teach you guys to have is to daily check the FM World UK website. So I'm putting the link into the comments now. It's www.uk.fmworld.com. That is official UK website, and as soon as you log in, the first thing you see is the news section. This is where they announce all the promotions, all the discounts, all the new products coming out, all the catalog launches, all the events and everything. So get in a habit of checking that site every single day, because there's almost every day there's something announced there that you can that might be important to you or might be important to your whole team, etc. So get in a habit of checking that site, and I'm sure they will announce as soon as you can download. First of all, you'll probably be able to download the digital version of the catalog, and then you'll probably be able to purchase the actual printed version of the catalog as well. Vital is asking, can we build the team in India, New Delhi, where they order from? Again, great question. So in FM, we have two ways of how you can, or actually 3 ways how you can build a business. One way is when a country already has a branch. So if you want to check if a country has a branch, you need to go to fmworld.com. When you go to fmworld.com, and let me actually show it to you. So you go to fmworld.com. It opens this main company website, right? Am I sharing my screen? Of course I'm not. Share screen.